Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate?
That was Mel Gibson completely unloading on Gavin Newsom, calling on every Los Angeles resident with a backbone to vote the governor out over his embarrassing handling of the recent ICE protests. And this wasn't some one-off rant. Mel Gibson has been coming after Newsom for years, repeatedly calling out his incompetence and political cowardice, and we've got the receipts. Every clip, every shot, every brutal takedown. So hit that subscribe button because we're about to break it all down. It's no secret how badly Gavin Newsom has run California since taking office. The state is a mess and everyone can see it. Even Bill Maher, yes, one of his longtime defenders, finally broke ranks. Here's what Maher had to say about Newsom's disastrous leadership.
Good, but Governor, you were the poster boy for a lot of this stuff. I see today the Trump administration they talked about, I don't know if this is true, but they talked about the fact that California had a rule that schools cannot be required to notify parents if their kids in school have changed their gender, their pronouns. That's the kind of thing, even though it doesn't affect a lot of people, that makes a lot of people go, well, you know what? That's the party without common sense. Now, if that's your state, how are you?
Well, I just disagree with that. I mean, the law was you would be fired. A teacher would be fired if a teacher did not report or snitch on a kid talking about their gender identity. I just think that was wrong. I think teachers should teach. I don't think they should be required to turn in kids. And by the way,
we're talking about their parents. How can you snitch? The idea of a snitch and a parent.
So it's no surprise that Mel Gibson went after Gavin Newsom. What stunned everyone was just how ruthless the takedown was. This was a full-blown verbal demolition. A few months ago, Newsom faced one of the toughest tests of his governorship, and he failed spectacularly. No leadership, no accountability, just total collapse. And once the dust settled, Gibson wasn't alone. Joe Rogan jumped in, and together they tore Newsom apart. Buckle up, because it gets ugly.
In 19, I think Newsom said, I'm going to take care of the forests and maintain the forests and do all that kind of stuff. He didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. And then on top of that, they cut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad. It's like the place is just on fire.
Well, the whole state is just so...
I'm completely with Mel Gibson on this. Because let's be real, the only thing Gavin Newsom has improved in California is his hair. When wildfires tore through the state, it came out that nearly 80% of California's water was going to almonds. Not firefighting, not emergency reserves, almonds. In a state that's no stranger to wildfires, Newsom had no real water strategy for disasters, no planning, no urgency, just salon visits and agricultural mismanagement. He seems more worried about magazine covers than protecting Californians. People aren't asking for miracles, just basic competence. Instead, they got burned homes, parched land, and a government nowhere to be found. And Mel Gibson wasn't alone. Listen to what Jon Voight had to say.
Ooh, blaming Trump. What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there, talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? President Trump called in the National Guard and the Marines to help with these destructive, barbaric...
Jon Voight doesn't hold back. He goes straight after Newsom's rumored 2028 presidential ambitions, and he's not wrong. The idea of Newsom running for president should worry anyone who values results over image. If this is how he's run California, with soaring homelessness, crushing taxes, rising crime, and failed emergency responses, What would he bring to the White House? More photo ops, more virtue signaling. Newsom has turned one of America's strongest states into a cautionary tale, and now he wants to export that failure nationwide. Voight is sounding the alarm, and we should pay attention. If Gavin is the future of the Democratic Party, that future looks dangerously incompetent.
Cause chaos for the people. You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day. And God is my witness, truth will prevail because of your faults and your incompetence for California's failures. We the people, I stand with Donald Trump to make this state great again. For we the people choose Donald Trump to save America, and we're in danger with threats from terrorists now, and we must protect our country. This has now become good against evil, and evil will lose because our President of the United States of America was sworn in to protect this nation's greatest gifts: freedom, safety, prosperity. And he will, because he is the greatest president since Abraham.
Jon Voight also believes President Trump made the right call by deploying the National Guard in Los Angeles, a move that saved lives, protected businesses, and restored order when local leaders failed. Voight sees it for what it was, a necessary response and a stark reminder of Gavin Newsom's inability to lead in a crisis. But it's not just incompetence that hurts Newsom's presidential chances. It's his obsession with woke politics. Instead of tackling inflation, crime, and public safety, Newsom wastes time on performative activism and virtue signaling. His leadership prioritizes ideology over common sense and division over unity. That may play well in echo chambers, but it's a recipe for national disaster. And voters are noticing, especially one very alert voter.
Governor right now of California, how would you be handling the ongoing crisis that the state's facing?
Well, I think the most important thing is when you are in a leadership position like that, is that you are inclusive and that you work together with everybody. And so it means that you have to work together with local government, the state government, and the federal government. They have to work together rather than fighting each other. Fighting each other's agendas and all of that stuff, that doesn't do good to anybody. And
Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't hold back. He completely tears into Gavin for recklessly refusing to cooperate with federal authorities during the Los Angeles crisis. When riots broke out, Newsom didn't just hesitate, he criticized Trump's response, opposed federal intervention, and even dared the administration to arrest him. That wasn't leadership. That was political theater putting public safety at risk. Arnold, a former California governor, was shocked. In his eyes, Newsom had a duty to rise above politics and protect Californians. Instead, he played partisan games while cities burned. Arnold makes it clear, the right move was simple: work with the federal government, no matter who's in the White House, to restore law and order. When chaos hits, leadership isn't about ego, it's about action. And Newsom failed spectacularly.
things legal. That is the important thing, So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and that are foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can. Keep things clean and to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really...
When it comes to the protests that tore through Los Angeles, Arnold doesn't hold back. He puts the blame squarely on illegal immigrants who entered the country unlawfully. According to Arnold, if they had followed the legal path, none of the chaos, fear, or deportation threats would exist. He speaks from experience. At 21, Arnold came to America with nothing and earned his place the right way. Unlike politicians chasing applause, he rejects a soft, emotional approach to immigration. He believes respect for the rule of law is what made America strong, and ignoring it only weakens the nation. To Arnold, the system isn't broken, it's being abused. Immigration should be about discipline and honor, not disorder. And as tensions continue to rise, Vice President J.D. Vance steps in to add even more fuel to the fire.
Newsom and Karen Bass, by treating this city as a sanctuary city, have basically said that it is open season on federal law enforcement. They have treated Border Patrol and border enforcement as somehow an illegitimate force instead of what they are, which is the American people's law enforcement trying to enforce the American people's laws. So when Gavin Newsom encourages violence and rioting, when he encourages people to get in the face of our great Border Patrol officers, he is absolutely endangering the lives of federal enforcement. He's absolutely endangering the lives of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons who have been sent here to do a simple thing, enforce the law. And thank God they're willing to do it despite the fact that the local leadership of this community has made it harder on them and has in fact endangered their lives as they go about to do their...
Gavin Newsom's choice to side with illegal immigrants and violent protesters didn't just send the wrong message, it put an entire city at risk. The footage says it all. Streets in chaos, property destroyed, innocent lives threatened. This wasn't peaceful protest, it was lawlessness, enabled by a governor who put politics above safety. True leaders rise above the noise and personal agendas. Newsom did the opposite. He gambled with Californians' lives to score political points and stir outrage against President Trump. Instead, he revealed poor judgment and misplaced priorities. His loyalty wasn't to the people, it was to optics and ideology. And in a crisis, that kind of leadership is dangerous. Eventually, Newsom issued an apology, but by then, the damage was already done.
In California, it isn't slowing down. The gangs are not slowing down. Newsom did eventually come out and apologize. If you want to go on Twitter, Rob, and just go to the apology video that he came out eventually. This is, I think, 4-5 days later. On day one, I asked him, I said, are you going to come out and do this? Watch how he's finally wanting to have his people be responsible. Go ahead, Rob.
If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account.
Okay.
That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested. And we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases. And people will...
Gavin Newsom's apology may have come, but it was far too late. The chaos had already played out. Had he acted decisively, much of it could have been avoided. Instead, he hesitated, miscalculated, and watched events spiral out of control. This mix of indecision and arrogance is exactly why Newsom should be kept far from the presidency. He governs for cameras, not citizens, driven by image, not results. Slick, evasive, and self-serving, he listens more to political instincts than the people he's supposed to represent. America doesn't need another smooth talker. It needs leadership with backbone, substance, and duty, qualities Newsom consistently lacks. His time as California governor has been a masterclass in political theater and failed leadership. From siding with chaos over law and order to putting ambition above service, the pattern is clear. Figures like Mel Gibson, Jon Voight, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and even Bill Maher have all called out his hypocrisy and incompetence. His late apologies and hollow virtue signaling can't undo the damage. If Newsom is eyeing the White House in 2028, Americans need to think carefully. A Newsom presidency would mean California's chaos on a national scale. And with that, we'll wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.